Rashid, go ahead with your question for the Revenue Secretary.
Hi, the question is around like the reverse charge mechanism. So basically, for the reverse charge, like new goods and services, the services will get notified. So the question here is like, will there be an exemption for the smaller businesses because the bigger businesses may stop buying from the unorganized or semi-organized sector in case they're not able to comply and the burden of compliance increases?
Well, there would be. We have not yet decided the list of services which will come in the reverse charge, nor have we decided such exemptions, etc. So when we discuss those things, we will get into that issue. But if there is any worry on this account, please do send it to us. We will keep it in mind while we are fixing it up.
Final set of questions now from each of our tax experts. Prateek, you go first. Your question to the Revenue Secretary.
Yes, sir. One of the provision which has been very is like debated is the anti-profiteering clause. And two questions around that. It seemed that anti-profiteering clause will stay, but we did not see any transition period. So typically when this kind of clauses come, like in Australia it was for 3 months, and in Malaysia it was for 15 months. So is it only for transition that you're looking at 3 to 6 months to that? And second is that what happens if the industry increases the price now from April to June? Because if that happens, because if they fear that from 1st of July they won't be able to increase the price, then don't you think it will be counterproductive in many sense?
Very good question. Well, that's what happened in Malaysia. You know about it. You know that people, moment they came to know there was going to be an anti-profiteering law, they all sort of increased their profit margins even before the law came. So yes, that is a worry. First of all, let me tell you that it is only for a transitional period. We are certainly not hoping that this provision will be used in future also. It is only for the transitional purpose, because there might be reductions or increase in rates in the transition period only. As compared to the old regime, in the new regime the tax rates may vary. Now, if it is so, and if there is a significant reduction made in certain items of sale, then we definitely want the people to pass it down to the consumer. Now, we don't hope that there will be a major need for taking recourse to this anti-profiteering clause. First of all, we do hope that most of the items, 90-95% of the items, are facing full competition. So if it is a competitive product, there is no need to worry about the profit margin or the pricing, etc. So I think majority of the items will be covered by competition, and so we don't need to worry about it. There may be few items of oligopoly or monopolistic situation in which these things might happen, and in which case also, depending on the complaint made by consumers, we would give this job to some authority to adjudicate.
What authority will that be? Because you said it will either be an existing authority or a new authority.
It will be either an existing authority or a new authority. Because it is a transitional provision, creating a new authority actually doesn't make any sense. Because then you create a new authority, it takes so much of time to create. So in 99%
it will be an
existing authority. We will have to give this responsibility of supervising this mandate to somebody. The mandate says that if the government reduces the taxes, you will have to pass it down to the consumer. Now, having said that in the law, somebody has to overall supervise it. It may not be necessarily an Inspector Raj. It may be only a case of somebody making an application, the company being asked all the questions, and then the authority...
But sir, if you're saying that the tax incidence is expected to remain pretty much where it is and status quo...
It may not happen. That's what I'm saying. Because we are not going in a regime, you know, what happens is that this anti-profiteering law is required for other regimes where from single point taxation they are moving to a value-added chain taxation provision. In our case, ours was already a GST, but separately for the state in terms of VAT, and in terms of mod VAT separately for the central government. Now we are merging the two. So input tax credit is availed even now. Only thing is that now joint input tax credit will be availed. So there will be some reduction because of that. So on the whole, the tax incidence is not going to very different. It is going to be the same.
Sachin Menon, your last question to Ms. Adia.
Sir, I have two questions. One is regarding entertainment tax. The entertainment tax is supposed to be subsumed in the GST. Now I understand that Maharashtra is going to enact some amendment in the state law authorizing the local governments like municipal corporations to levy localized entertainment tax. Will that not be defeating the purpose? If Maharashtra is doing that, it would be happening every state sooner or later. That's first question. Is there any solution to that, having a uniform procedure across? That's number one. Number two, whether the check post and the waybill regime will go under GST.
Okay. The first question, the constitutional amendment has removed the entry of entertainments from the state list, except that the entertainment tax can be levied by the state government for the benefit of local bodies. The entire income has to go to the local body. Then state government is very well within its right to enact a law in which some kind of entertainment tax is levied, but the entire proceeds go to the local body. So that is something which is possible now under the constitutional amendment.
So do you see other states following suit, sir?
Sorry?
Do you see other state governments following
suit? The question is that as far as the main entertainment tax is concerned, it will be part of GST. So we'll be having some GST rate of service. It is a service now.
Right.
So it will be covered under service as under GST. In addition to that, if some states think that their entertainment sector can survive with some additional burden of tax, what is wrong in that? Let them do so.
Viewers watching would require to understand how this is now going, how this new GST regime is going to work as far as the service tax rate is concerned. So just for the benefit of our viewers, if you could explain what they are likely to see from the 1st of July.
In terms of rate?
Yes.
Well, the rates, the standard rate for service tax will be 18%. That is for sure. But there would be certain services where we have already given some kind of abatement for specific reasons. For good reasons we have given them abatement. And they are actually having a lower incidence of service tax now. Now that has to be protected. So now the abatement has gone, but the way to protect them will be by putting them in a lower slab of service tax. So we may put them either in 12 or 5 depending on what is the level of abatement they were having so far.
Okay, so there's 5, 12 and 18 as far as the service tax rates
are concerned. But very few items in 5 and 12.
Very few items in 5 and 12, and majority will be in 18.
And that also we have no discretion, as I am telling you, those items which were under abatement, where there was a lower incidence of taxation now. Again, the same formula.
Will apply.
Let everybody not have any confusion about rates. Our formula is very, very clear. Fitment is a mechanical exercise. It's not going to be a big game changer, or it's not going to be changing the fortunes of companies here and there.
That's an important statement that's coming in from the Revenue Secretary. The fitment exercise is not going to change the fortunes of any industry. It is a mechanical exercise. Final questions. Hari, go ahead.
Sir, can we expect the rules to be out after tomorrow's meeting, or will it still take time for public dissemination? Because the problem is, you mentioned about GST Suvidha providers. So even for GSTN to release IT protocols called API, some of those rules are critical. So can we expect that the rules will be public after tomorrow's meeting?
Immediately, we'll try to do it on 1st of April. Yes, yeah.
You mean that seriously?
Yes, yes.
I'm just joking.
No. I mean, we'll try if we can do it before 1st of April. But certainly and if you want us to wait for a day and do it on 2nd of April, we are game for it.
Tadia, it's always a pleasure speaking with you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us today, answering our questions, giving us some much needed clarity and helping us understand what the new regime is going to look like. Thank you very much from all of us here on CNBC TV 18. With that, it is time for us to wrap up the CNBC TV 18 special town hall with the Revenue Secretary as we get a step closer to the rollout of the goods and services tax.